Okay, so we're doing this for our media coursework. It's all about healthy lifestyles and, health within the community. So we'd just like to ask you, I already counted quite a few questions about this stuff. Alright, so one of the main roles within the media is to promote, advertise and influence. Within our school, what evidence is there to show that healthy lifestyles has been promoted effectively?
There's a number of things that you can point towards healthy lifestyles. Firstly, eating, keeping the young people in school. So the lower school being kept in school because they don't go down and get chips and gravy. They don't go and get a pizza with loads of stuff chopped on it, which is unhealthy. So keeping them in school to eat their healthy dinners, which the canteen does keep to the national requirements of healthy dinners. We've banned the provision, or banned the fizzy pops and the what do you call them? The energy drinks. We're not allowing them into school. And hopefully, by having decent ways of chewing up now, people can actually eat in a civil way.
Is that promoted like for any posters or anything?
No, we haven't promoted it for the media because it's just a clear rule. I think the media, if you try to promote it for the media, it just wouldn't go down well. You just got to keep that pressure on it.
Yeah.
The media will influence in a positive way and make people go and buy it, in my view, because as soon as you show a picture of something, the media will influence young people to go and get it. So we don't want that.
Okay. Many schools from the local area have achieved a national healthy schools status. How's ours?
We did. The National Healthy Schools Awards gone.
Okay.
We do hold it. We presently hold it. I believe the last time we achieved it was in 2010, and it was the present government got rid of the award or the requirements of the award last year.
Okay.
So we don't have to meet those standards anymore, but we did meet it. Yes. The plaque is actually outside Miss Harlow's room.
Within our school canteen, there are varied choices to choose from, ranging from fresh produce to deep-fried food. According to the Nutritional Standards and Requirements for School Food Regulations 2007, deep-fried food, salt, sugar and manufactured meat products have to be restricted. Which products are restricted within our canteen?
All those are restricted. The deep-fried food should only be provided once a week. So you can argue that you only provide it once a week if you have different year groups going at different times, and it's sold out when other year groups go in. So they are provided, they are restricted, and chips I believe is only on 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of rice on there, so that counteracts that. So there is restriction to it, and the kitchens keep to those requirements.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that childhood obesity is a large issue in the local community at the moment?
I think obesity is a big issue for the country, let alone childhood obesity. I think there's a balance between labelling someone fat and to someone who's just growing up, because people's bodies change as they grow up. So it depends on how you label obesity. I'm not a big fan of the word obesity, not a big word of the word fat either. What I'm about is seeing how children are growing up and how their bodies change. And when you get to be a teenager to an adult, that's when it's important. As long as people have got healthy lifestyles, people have got an active way of working, then I don't see a problem with that. Not everybody who's fat as a 10-year-old is going to be fat when they're 20. It's about how they're getting involved in sports and activity and healthy styles to develop those things, because people's bodies change in different ways.
Yeah. How is Tudor still tackling this issue?
Not really directly, because it's a bigger, wider issue. Having healthy meals, I think we have an extensive range of sports goes on, so people can engage in sports and all over the place. And particularly we're trying to make it more personalised at Key Stage 4. So when you get a little bit older, you can get into other sports you want to get into rather than just what you're told to do as a core curriculum. I think that's the way really as a school you can influence, because you can try and talk to young people about healthy eating, do healthy eating days part of enrichment days, but how many people listen to that? Hopefully through design and technology for the cooking lessons, that will be trying to teach people how to cook healthily, how to use healthily, to cook healthy meals. So hopefully all that sort of thing's happening, but it's more of a wider societal issue. And it's how you get to the parents, for the parents to understand what should be fed and when people should eat, and what they should eat when. That's important.
You mentioned about sports within that, but how there's lots of sports going on in the school. How is that promoted within our school?
I think it's done mainly in lessons, isn't it, and on the websites in terms of how successful we are. I think we have an extensive amount of sports. I think it's fantastic. I mean, we're very successful at sport, and as a college as a whole, we do very, very well. I suppose the minority sports are attached. I think that the some of the things like boxing, taekwondo, and things like that, which could be big, aren't used at all. And we could get more people engaged in sport if we did things like that. But it's through the PE department, and again, we don't use the media to do that, except for using the website extensively to promote the successes.
We're just going to move on to questions about alcohol.
Yep, that's okay.
So, do you believe that underage alcohol consumption is a big issue concerning students within High Tunstall?
No. Don't think it's as big as I've seen in some other schools. There will be people who drink alcohol, and there will be people who will go out weekends to drink alcohol, and there will be some people who drink too much. I've not ever known anybody yet, or that I've never found out of, that people brought it on sites, whereas previous schools have been that that's been an issue. I think we've got relatively clean living young people at High Tunstall. There will be some who drink alcohol, it's part of life, it's part of our society, but it's about educating people into the safe drinking. I'm not saying I'm not promoting it, but if people are, you've got to make sure they understand what they're doing and people know what's going on and how to react and the rest of it. But as far as I'm aware, it's not a huge issue at High Tunstall, but it will be in a small minority of students here.
Okay.
What rights and responsibilities do you and other members of staff have to protect students who are participating with underage alcohol consumption outside of college?
For me, it depends on the young person, it depends on the level of consumption. If you've got a one-off consumption and it's talking with the students, talking with the parents, get it resolved. If it's a long-term issue, then we would refer it to HIPE, and that would be the drug and alcohol counselling. And we would have a number of students who've done that in the past, and we'll continue to do that. It's a handful. Out of 12 kids, it's a handful. But we have a responsibility in terms of child protection and make sure that if there's issues like that, we do refer people on to the appropriate agencies to help support and make sure we get the help to try and stop it, or at least control it.
What are the consequences? Like, you'd find someone?
If someone was drunk in school,
Yeah.
or had alcohol with them, there'd be an exclusion. Depending on what they were doing with it, would be dependent on whether it was a permanent exclusion or fixed term exclusion.
Okay.
How does our school try and combat this issue?
Support and advice through leaflets for the school nurse, support through organisations like HIPE, and that's really and for the student welfare officers and the year leaders and tutors, just to go through that support and help and have someone there to talk to, and that's what it's about.
You mentioned the school nurse. When's she in and where's she at? Because I've been here 5 years and I'm still not that sure.
Yeah, very good question.
Okay.
Okay. You mentioned leaflets.
Ask the help service.
Okay.
You mentioned leaflets before. How else is like always promoted? I mean,
Word of mouth through lessons, cooking enrichment days. We don't put a lot on the website because that would just think that we've got an issue. If you put something on a website and just say, well, why are they talking about drugs, alcohol and cigarettes or whatever else, they'd be saying, well, there must be an issue there. It's very difficult.
yeah.
It's about having provision of medical people in school through curriculum enrichment days, how that should be done, so PSHCE and those sort of programmes. And that's how it should be promoted and discussed in lessons. But going back to the question about the school nurses, that's a good question because the government cut the funding for school nurses.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why I asked the question. That's it.
That's fine. Okay. According to school rules, smoking is forbidden within the school grounds.
Yeah.
However, we've seen like numerous amounts of students who've
Yeah.
done that. What's being done to prevent this?
Okay, very difficult smoking.
Okay.
I would say we've got a group of about 23 students who smoke regularly on site.
Yeah.
And they will smoke on the bushes, they will smoke in the middle of the field when it's dry, and they will smoke to and from school. If they are caught smoking, they are placed in school detention and parents are contacted. You may ask why it's not an exclusion. I don't think it's an exclusion offence. I think you can exclude people for smoking forever. What you've got to do is tackle it and actually give them lessons, or not lessons, but take them through a stop smoking course. And so I've asked for cessation courses to be put on in college. Unfortunately, there's no one from the NHS to do it, and you've got to be qualified to do that. So it's about working with the young people, trying to stop them, encourage them to stop smoking. But actually, we don't actively encourage it on site. I mean, it is banned. It is a non-smoking site. We know where they smoke. Hopefully, we catch them now and then. They get punishments to try and persuade them not to do it. It's trying to make it difficult for them.
Okay.
Because actually, if you catch them, get rid of one, and they have to put that cigarette, they get punished. That's another cigarette, 50p gone. If you do that time and time again, they're going to get fed up, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, because you're not going to stop a smoker. If they are addicted, what you've got to do is give them the support to stop the addiction. It's not about smoking, it's about the addiction. but it is banned on site and it should be punished appropriately.
Is this issue like promoted within our school?
Well, smoking.
No, like anti-smoking.
No, again, and again through PSHE, through the year team, the National Anti-Smoking Day, National No Smoking Day, was promoted very small, but there's a few posters around the school.
Yeah.
Again, it needs to be high profile, but it's about getting year leaders, student welfare officers and the health teams to really push that and promote that. It's a thing we need to develop.
Yeah. So like which other media?
Well, we should be using our TV screens around the school. We should be using the posters we get. We get plenty of posters in about it. We should be giving leaflets out. We should be doing all those things. We don't. I don't know why we don't. You may ask my head teacher why I don't know. But you pass it on to someone else to do, and that hasn't happened. We need to make sure that happens in the future. So we do have that promotion.
Yeah.
Okay, what emotional and physical support does our school provide for students?
Emotional and
Yeah,
physical.
for like when they're addicted to cigarettes.
Really, it's just the cessation courses are offering them the patches, offering the Nicorette stuff. Really, is the national products that they offer. Again, it would be referred to hyped if they wanted too much, or the use of NHS provision from there. Emotionally, we don't provide any support because we need emotional support. It's about it's about the physical and the direct addiction, but it's about giving them option to try and stop smoking. But unfortunately, it's quite hard to do because it's quite expensive to do that as well, which is why it's an NHS job. It's a medical issue. It solves lifelong illnesses, and what we've got to do is try and get them involved more.
Okay.
I've got to say, up to my time in school, the previous head teacher refused to have cessation courses going on in school.
Okay. What rights and responsibilities do you and other members of staff have to abide by if you're aware that a student is participating within underage sex outside of the college?
Depends on the age. Okay. That might sound strange, but there's a number of things. Anything below 14 is statutory rape.
Yeah.
So anything below 14, we've got a child protection issue, and if we find out about that, it's referred into social services. Okay. Not directly, we'd have a conversation, see what the scale of it is, and then go from there. Anything over 14, you then got a different line because it's not statutory rape, but though it's still unlawful.
Yeah.
And what you've got, the important thing about any sexual activity is about protecting the young people. It's not about, because everybody will experiment, everybody will try things, and as you grow older, you will experiment. The important thing is to be doing it safe, to make sure we've got that. At present, we are going to governors in 2 weeks' time to talk about C-card provision. Do you know about the C-card called condom card?
Okay, yeah.
So if young people over the age of 14 are participating and want to access and get a condom, we might be able to provide
So
that.
what's happening with the C-card?
Well, we're waiting to see if the governor's approve to allow it go on in the college. To see if they will allow that to happen in college. Because there's some schools that won't allow that to happen in their schools because it says you're promoting sexual
So what does
activity.
the C-card actually do?
Basically, you get a C-card
Right.
and you get 10 opportunities to go and get free condoms. But
Okay.
you get sexual activity advice. You get advice about how to use a condom safely, what the purpose of a condom, but you only get 10 activities until you 10 chances, and then you've got to go through all the training again. So we're looking to see whether we can do that, or whether the governors would approve it.
Okay.
The problem is when you do it after school, before school, during school? Because as you don't want people coming out of lesson to go and get a condom. You don't want condoms blowing up all around the school because some young people will do that.
Yeah.
And if you put it on provision 3:30 till 4:30, most young people just want to get home. So it's a balance of when you do it and how it's done and where it's done and how it's promoted. Because again, it's about the promotion, it would be through posters, through the TV screens, the rest of it. But certainly, we did engage Alison Mole last year, who was our sexual health nurse, who was coming doing drop-ins for it. But that again has been pulled back by the NHS because they've cut the funding. That again was there for people to drop in to talk to someone about. So we're looking at different ways of supporting. But coming down to legal responsibilities, anybody under 16 who's involved in sexual activity, I would expect the parents to be informed, no matter how old they are, either by them or by us. And I would always go for the procedure of saying, do your parents know? Because obviously sometimes you get the teenage pregnancy, and we've been very lucky, we've only had 2 in the school that I know of. 2 too many, but we've had 2. And they would say we're pregnant, we want some support. Yes, we'll give them the support. Yes, we'll allow them to whatever support they need and take them down to the One Life Centre and the rest of it. but they would always have to talk to their parents, or the school would talk to their parents the next day.